All right, let's dive into a real head-scratcher from the world of Hello Kitty. Sanrio Puroland, the indoor theme park, just announced some big changes that, at first glance, just don't seem to make any sense at all. So today, we're going to piece together this price puzzle.
And this is the heart of the mystery, right? It's a question that feels totally backwards. Why would you ask your most loyal customers, the annual pass holders, to pay more money for a pass that actually lets them visit less? It feels like a riddle, but stick with me, because by the end of this, the answer is going to be crystal clear.
Okay, so first things first, before we start solving anything, let's just lay out the evidence. What exactly did Sanrio announce that got everyone talking?
Let's start with the hard numbers. The price for an adult annual pass is jumping up by 3,000 yen, and a kid's pass is going up by 2,000. Now, that's not exactly pocket change for dedicated fans, but believe it or not, the price is only half the story.
Then we have this number, 42. This is the one that really caught everyone off guard. For the very first time, Sanrio Puroland is introducing 42 blackout dates for their annual passes. So you might be asking, what does that actually mean?
Well, it means this whole thing is way more than just a simple price hike. Not only are pass holders losing their renewal service, but they're now blocked from visiting on 42 of the park's absolute busiest days. We're talking Golden Week, summer holidays, the works. So you're paying more to be blocked from the park when you most want to go. It's a real double whammy, and it's also where we find our first clues.
All right, so our first major clue has to do with the very nature of the park itself. It's something you might not even think about, but honestly, it changes everything.
And here it is, the key constraint. Puroland is entirely indoors. Unlike a huge, sprawling park like Disneyland that can build new lands and expand outwards, Puroland is, at the end of the day, just one big building.
And that simple fact has massive consequences. You can't just knock down a wall and add a new ride to absorb more people. The walls are where they are, for safety, for comfort. That building has a hard, unchangeable capacity limit. And get this, on an average day, the park is already seeing about 6,000 visitors. Now, according to Sanrio's own reports, that's pushing right up against the comfortable limit of what the park can handle. The place is basically full.
So this becomes the million-dollar question for the people in charge, right? When you literally can't fit any more people through the doors, the old playbook of more visitors equals more money goes right out the window. You have to find a new way to grow.
And here's the new strategy. The whole focus pivots away from the number of guests to the amount each guest spends. It's a concept called per-customer spending. If you can't get more people inside, you have to make sure each person who is inside is having a great time and maybe buying a little more merchandise. This idea is crucial, and it leads us right to our second clue.
Now, our second clue has nothing to do with the building. It's all about who's showing up to visit it. Because you see, the profile of the typical Puroland fan has been changing a lot.
For years, Puroland was seen as a place for families with young kids, but now it's become a huge hotspot for a totally different crowd, adults, mostly women in their 20s and 30s. They're not just there for nostalgia, they're part of this huge cultural trend called Oshikatsu, which is all about passionately supporting your favorite characters and, of course, creating amazing content for social media.
So now you've got this surge, this massive wave of new, super motivated adult fans, all trying to get into a park that physically cannot get any bigger. It is the classic textbook definition of skyrocketing demand hitting a fixed, unmovable supply.
Okay, so we've got our clues. Clue number 1, a park that's at full capacity. Clue number 2, a huge surge in new demand. Now let's put the pieces together and finally solve this thing.
So here's how it all breaks down. 1, the park is full. 2, more people than ever want to get in. So, 3, the only path forward is to shift the entire business model. By raising the annual pass price and adding those blackout dates, they can better manage the insane crowds on peak days and encourage visits from guests who are more likely to spend more on merchandise and food during their visit. Now, it's easy to look at all this and think that Sanrio is being uniquely hard on its biggest fans. But is this move really happening in a vacuum? Or is it part of a much bigger trend?
Oh, it's definitely a trend. Puroland is actually right in line with the rest of the industry. In fact, if you look at recent surveys, over half of all major theme parks in Japan have also raised their ticket prices recently. This is happening everywhere. At the end of the day, Sanrio is really just adopting what's become the modern theme park playbook. I mean, the giants like Tokyo Disney and Universal Studios Japan have been using these strategies for years.
Things like dynamic pricing, where tickets cost more on busy days, and annual pass blackouts are all tools for managing crowds, making sure the guest experience is great, and of course, maximizing revenue.
So what have we learned? Let's bring this all home and deliver the final verdict on Sanrio's big price puzzle.
It really just boils down to this quote from one of the reports. It says this is just a basic economic problem. How do you adjust when way more people want to get into a place that has limited space? So the mystery of paying more to visit less isn't some strange corporate plot, it's just a straightforward solution to a very classic problem. And this is the tightrope that every popular attraction in the world has to walk. It's a constant, delicate balancing act. You've got revenue on one side and the guest experience on the other. And the goal is to find that sweet spot, right in the middle, where the business is healthy and the guests who are actually in the park are having an absolutely fantastic, unforgettable time.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. I mean, it's easy for us to sit back and criticize these decisions, but put yourself in their shoes for a second. If you were in charge of your favorite park and it just became too popular, too crowded, what would you do? Would you raise prices? Limit how many people can get in? It's a tough puzzle with no perfect answers.